Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments based on the scriptures of the scroll of the Lamb of God. The Ten Commandments written on tablets by the finger of the divine eternal Father. You children of the earth, promise before knowing a human life to fulfill in your simplicity feeling the highest morality that can be conceived, and to attend to your request, the Divine Father placed the Ten Commandments in human life. They represent and remind you on earth of the morality promised in the kingdom of heaven. You might be deceived by the fleeting comfort that money provides, thinking you had never studied my scriptures that could happen by failing to comply with the commandments in your daily life cannot be overlooked. Only the arrogant will come to know the power of God, which is first expressed through the living doctrines and then in nature. Every new law must be first thought and then executed. To do the positive will bring chaos to the world, as everyone will be deluded and many will take their long lives believing that the end of the world has come. No, children, there is not a such thing. What exists is the final judgment on a way life that is not in kingdom of heaven, that is not in my commandments, and that will be approved the human evolution. The commandments were given for everyone. They are the only ones that can unify the world. My divine commandments do not divide the world. Only the divine commandments could and still save the world from the weeping incarnation society that is approaching. First commandment: you should love your God and Creator above all the things, and your neighbors as yourself. Second commandment: you should not worship on any image, temple, or likenesses of any kind. Third commandment: you should not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not behold him in guiltiness who takes his name in vain. Fourth commandment: remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you should labor and do all your work, but the 7 days is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Fifth commandment: honor your father and your mother, so that your days might be prolonged in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Sixth commandment: you shall not kill. Seventh commandment: you shall not fornicate, you shall not commit adultery. Eighth commandment: you shall not steal. Ninth commandment: you shall not bear false witnesses against your neighbor, no lies. 10th commandment: you should not covet your neighbor's gods. Based on the Holy Scriptures, Exodus chapter 20, Deuteronomy chapter 5. The demanding days of the Creator bear the self of equality to degree unknown to you. This equality is represented in the Ten Commandments. Where did you get the word private? Nothing is private in the nature. The divine root gives and takes away, meaning that every divine commandments have been observing the actions of every human. Him bring through the centuries. They are living words of God, who is everywhere in the highest morality that the human mind can imagine. Such morality is represented in my commandments. There is no other knowledge in this world that surpasses them. My divine commandment teach equality. Inequality that is respected will have made the earth paradise. The Creator is infinite and it represents in all the things, yet His commandments are the supreme because they emerge from his free will. The divine morality of my divine commandments was created so that universal communist government could arise on earth, one single government and one single God. Is there any other doctrine more humble than the which they share material things in common? The hour has come when all the power that is not on the eternal Father will fall by his first own law. With the measurement they use, they will measure. The measure is the commandment, and by the commandments they will fall. Right, Alpha and Omega. Lord, you blew the winds, and the sea is your child. Who is like you, O Lord? From the eternal to the eternity, you are the voice of God. Holy Readings. Matthew 16:13-14. And when he came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Who do men say that the Son of the Man is? They answered, Some say John the Baptist, others Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. And he said to them, And you, who do you say that I am? Simon Peter answered and says, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. John 3:3. Jesus answered and said to him, I truly say unto you, unless a man is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. What will come? Divine title 1484. In every reincarnation, the form of the life is requested which the spirit itself wants to live in remote planetary domes. There is a natural tendency in the spirit who ask to know the forms of light which they do not know, to bring to such a world of the trials the same living that they knew in the kingdom of heavens, and as the kingdom of heavens, the strange forms of light is now known, which is unknown laws, include the strange inequality to the one who knows they knew the strange things out of their own heavenly requests. Absolutely no one ever entered in kingdom of heavens again. This is because every human spirit has a promise to the Father to fulfill him about all imaginable things. Telepathic Scroll. Divine title. How a reincarnation is carried out in the kingdom of heavens. The MACROCOSM is the place where the human creature came from, the 318 magnetic saturations. Jason, the kingdom of heaven, is the same macrocosm. The glory of the Father has no limit, and everything happens in the colossal. The glory of the Father eclipses all other glory, known and unknown, because all glory came from the Father. The place where the human monkeys were created in the triune macrocosm. There are microscopic and microscopic triune galaxies. What is above is equal to what is below. The creation is called in the kingdom born again, or reincarnation is the same. A law can be said in many ways, and it's always be the same law. Everything happened, and it still happens in the Alpha and Omega sons of the triune galaxy. Everything is born from the solar fire. They are the eldest children of the Father Jehovah. The solar firstborn, when a spirit is born and is to a solar love conversation, which its bone has a sexual relations like what is below. When you have sexual relations, a reincarnation is prepared upon. A spirit prepares to enter in the flesh. I truly tell you that in you is a fourth part of the whole reincarnation, and 3/4 are born from the solar parents. You transmit an inheritance and in divinity gifts and individuality. You participate in the creation of an eternity because each spirit is a microscopic solar fire, has the expansive love of the universe, infinity thinking begins, participate in reincarnation. They are the virtues. In you there are 318 living virtues. If one of the virtues were taken out, all of them, your individuality will change. This has never happened in your world. The place of reincarnation, it is the center of the solar luminaries. There are events occur that will abyss you. You are not used to seeing the colossal, what has no limits. The center of the sun is an eternity of the universe, and it has no end. I speak to you about the sons of the macrocosm, not your son, which is a dwarf son. In the macrocosm, everything is gigantic, and truly I tell you, they do not know you, only the Father, the solar mother Omega, and certain solar fathers, who were prophets on earth. They know you, and the unknown are like the numbers of the sand that is in the desert contains, because nothing of the Father has limits. That place, one of the infinity ones that exists, that announced it to you by the firstborn Son, he told you, where I am from, you cannot go. He was referring to the macrocosm, the place which you were created, and not only you as a spirit, but also the planet you step on. Because matter and spirit are the same thing. And both came out of the same point of only one God. Matter has free will within his own laws, just as the spirit possesses it, because everyone had the same right before the Creator. That is why it is said in infinite words of the universe, the living universe of the Father Jehovah. Because matter and spirits possess life. No one is disintegrated, neither matter nor spirit. In the place where you came from, everything has life. The inner, as you knew it in your world, does not exist. The matter converses with the spirit that is not known there, because everything is eternal. Their time does not age anyone, nor in its pain known. The solar fire gives himself eternity in its eternal constancy, or returning to what was done. Yes, son. This is how you see it. In the celestial drawing, you can see the sun's alpha and omega. The omega circle on the right represents the spirit cells, meat, fibers. human flesh and is identified in the cosmic essence. All its molecules are product of the elements of the nature that are also cosmic. Meat is a product of the solar saturation magnetism and is producer of all the flesh. In any part of the point of the earth, you are born the same. Magnetism is throughout to the planet, a reincarnation, and is a living mandate breathing in the kingdom of heaven. Everything you think and what you do not think are written in the solar book, also called Ark of the Book, or Book of the Materialization. In the drawing, you can see a light blue angle. Represents one of the ends of the solar book. The solar book are living. The other one who reads them then converses with the figures and see the true story of stories, the story of the infinite universes that exist and are no longer in the space, and of those who are. And by regarding so many infinite stories, you learn what you see that in your own existences lose importance. To live a life that forgets its origin, as you does, is to fall into excessivity importance, believing that you are unique, gross mistake, because no one who believes himself to be unique will enter in the kingdom of heaven. Only the Father is the unique. And I truly tell you that those who believe that they were unique in their thinking and did not express it, they will not enter in kingdom of heaven. For the Divine Father, and if they had expressed it, the reincarnation of spirit occurs at the same moment that the human couple has sexual relations. What it's above, it's equal to what's below. Reincarnations follow an order, and it was written in the kingdom of heaven. That is why it was said to the human race, and there will come one flesh. That is a single marriage. And I truly tell you that all those who out of wisdom and immorality have more than one marriage will curse their entire lives for not having been faithful to the divine command, because none of them will enter in kingdom of heaven. And poor men and women who having joined in a marriage kill the fruit of one of the flesh, because my divine commandment says, thou shalt not kill. Who? Woe to those who marry out of the interest, because they mediate the virtue of love. None of them will enter in kingdom of heaven. Woe to the parents who impose the love of marriage on their children, because none of them enters in kingdom of the Father. Woe to those who have sumptuous wedding, while in the world there were beings who were dying of hunger, because no one with a sumptuous wedding will enter the kingdom of heaven. Woe to those who had their marriage in temples belonging to the harlots, where my divine love was traded. Woe to those who before joined in a marriage scandalized with love. Falling in love should never happen in public places. Woe to those who careless themselves in presence of the innocents, in the presence of the children, because none of these immoral people will enter in kingdom of heaven. Woe to those who fell in their parental duties. Poor are those who abuse their children. Woe to those who cause abortions to all the self-witnesses, because they will be accused of murder in the kingdom of heaven. They forgot the divine command that says, "Do not do to another what you will not like to be done to you." Woe to those midwives and those doctors who perform abortions. Accused will be complicit in murders against the Father's creations. None will enter in kingdom of heaven. Poor men and women who join in marriage ignoring the scriptures, because all in their inheritance will not enter in kingdom of heaven. Woe to those who took material advantages of their marriage, because no one will enter in kingdom of heaven. Woe to those who married in a purely mundane union, because no couple that live in the so-called social life, ignoring the scripture, will enter in kingdom of heaven. Poor are those parents who begin blind in spirituality, made their children so many blinds, for they will be cursed by their own children. Poor man and woman who despise out of the pride, the love of the humble person, because they despise the Father. Were not you taught that everyone is humble first before the Father? Because every despiser will be despised in other existences. Woe to those who were united in marriage, begin violations of the Father love, because all their children up to the 4th generation, because of their faults, will not enter in kingdom of heaven. Poor the men and women who donate their children, because they will suffer the same fate in other existences. Poor Western world of the world in illusion. For you there will be in this world a judgment and crying and garnishing of teeth. All the violations of my law came from you. Satan made its sciences. Poor you, illusionist creators. This is how you would also be excited in other words. O poor of you, who condemn in the world, not enter in kingdom of heaven. It will be, and you will have been better for you to not to ask for to know the life of the planet Earth. How will you curse your false concept of justice, poor you, capitalists of the world, false children of the light? Poor you, heavens, gold was more important to you than a spiritual love, the creators, blind guises of blind, because of you, this world will not see its place of origin, because you turned them away from the path that leads to the kingdom of the Father. Why did you curse us once? Once again, do you delude my creatures? In this world, you do the same thing. Entire humanities, they were marginalized from the kingdom. I truly tell you, it's spams of the devil, that the world will persecute you, and it chases away a plague. And I truly tell you, the world will never witness a greater punishment. Praise you to those who were humble of the heart. The Father has nothing against you. The punishment will fall against the devil of the exploitative capitalism that divides you into rich and poor. These devils, knowing that the only Satan divides the children of the Father, because no divided spirit enters in kingdom of heaven, just like the devils of the rock, who divide you into many beliefs, forgetting out to the selfishness that there is only one God. It is enough that the mental division, with respect to the Father, lasts less than a second, then one that does not enter in kingdom of heaven. This is because you promised the Father to exalt him above all the things, above all minimum time, and I truly tell you, you promised something that it was superior to your spiritual faculties, and it was enough for you, a group of devils, to deceive you, and your Creator was left behind in all this long. I truly tell you, Your awakening from the illusion to which you are accustomed will be painful. The fall of this humanity is the fall of his own system of life. Two rocks of the self-fitness fall: the illusionists and the decided, the deceivers and the deceived, the exploiters and the exploited, the guiders and the blind and the blinded. Truly I tell you that none of you will see my glory. Reincarnation, or being born again, was given to you, and you never understood its amazing and his meaning because you materialize it in a spiritual concept. Many devils of the scandal and the commerce have ridiculed and then nurtured such a divine love. And truly I tell you that no one indulged in pornography will enter in kingdom of heaven. Poor you, devils of the generation, you are cursed to the fourth generation. Because of you, cursed millions and millions of my children will not enter in kingdom of heaven. Woe to those who entertain themselves for a moment looking at nudity and pornography, because no more person will enter in kingdom of heaven, and every marriage that it was joined ignoring the love of the Father must separate, because to all their children they transmitting and continue to transmitting and living ignorance and its inheritance that is transmitted through the blood. Do you understand now, you ignorance, one that you became one with flesh? Do you understand now why your children up to the fourth generation will curse you? I truly tell you that not couple who live guided by the goal will enter the kingdom of heaven. It would be better for you not to have gotten married, because you will have the opportunity to enter the kingdom of heaven. I truly tell you, this entire generation will know crying and garnishing until. Why were you blind? Weren't you taught that the material things are temporary? What did you let yourself to be deluded in a fleeting comfort? Jehovah, your Creator, is jealous of His laws. Being everywhere, I see everything, and I see your future performances, not only in this insistence in which you are, but in all that you will have. That is why the Father gives and takes away. And I truly tell you that no one from this humanity has entered in the kingdom of the Father, because of the illusion they knew in life. Men were never organized according to the scriptures. They did everything ignoring them, and you already know the results. And I truly tell you, only children's innocence had entered and will be entering kingdom of heaven, because the kingdom has always been theirs. So, not so called an adult will enter in kingdom, because every adult was tested between good and evil, because each one asking for it, and every request in the kingdom becomes life in a distant planet. Early humanity will have to enlighten itself to know what destinies awaits it for, because each one has a defined position outside the kingdom of heaven, and some are closer to the kingdom than others. Others that are on the doors, and it all depends on your heavenly score. The celestial score is the sum of all the seconds lived in existence. From the 12 years to age, childhood needs no punctuation, because there is in the kingdom. The heavenly score is the addition that to yourselves earn it, and at the same time the salt of light. Every second of your existence is equivalent to an existence that is fulfilled on earth or on other earths in the distant world, according to how you live was, so you would your future existence will be. He who has a bad cannot expect to go on a paradise, because the prices for spiritual happiness must be earned. Fulfilling the Father's commandments above all the things in the terms, above all the things there is the origin and is the true character of the human philosophy should have been. You should have been given to yourself a common government, just as is in the kingdom of heaven. Were you not taught in a good common to all? I truly tell you that any government that did not take me into account about all the things would not prevail on earth, just as they have happened with the governments and kingdoms in the past. Everyone who does not take the Father into account in their decisions, their creatures do not enter in kingdom of heaven, because in the living universe of the Father Jehovah, matter and spirit are one and the same. A mental error has persecution on their other minds. An intention that imitates other is entitled to its consequences, because the love is common in the midst of the variety and apparent inequality. In the kingdom of heaven, in all the unequals of the distant mansions are equal in what corresponds to them. The son of the light and the son of the darkness find their just love. Love as a W, according to his words, to the idea generated, to his source of life, to his own addiction, to your own gaining knowledge, to his own broad sweat, to his own word, physical and intellectual. And I truly tell you that it's easier for someone who works in a second or less in his life to enter in kingdom of heaven than for the greatest millionaires in the world. The latter, even in the had been working, cancels himself, because no one was commanded to be rich, and it's a living immorality for one to have everything and the other has nothing. The divine commandment says, you should not steal. What you own, share it with your brothers, and thus the doors of the heaven will open to you. If you were charitable below, you find charity abound. Were you positioned in the world and there are none to know, I truly tell you that every rich man who gives away what he has, other will see the kingdom of heaven. And he who does not detach himself will see nothing. And it is shameful for the Trinity to be discussing the violations of the Father's law. Violation such as to the world's selfishness violation, which made their authors beings unfortunate in life, because they are the devils of their words. Whether these selfish beings go, they saw injustice and moral pain. The spirits of the rich are those beings who coming out of darkness ask for the proof of light in the world of light, and they carry within themselves the weaknesses of the darkness. Being usurious and ambitious, and is typical of those who never knew the abundances because the first stage of the spirit, the rich of today, will be the spiritualists of tomorrow, and the spiritualities of today were the materialists of the past. Everything is related to the experience of the spirit, which is not subject to the single existences, because every spirit is born again on reincarnation again, and it passes through many planetary mansions. Your reincarnation is a saturation of the solar fire, and is composed of 318 saturations. Saturation is since an impregnation that takes place in the same moment that you have sexual intercourse. What happens below has repercussions upon. You are the continuation of the Father's work, and you are not the only ones, not the first, not the last one. Before you, the universe exists. Expansion is inherited, and it has its own forms, and I truly tell you that is your own knowledge that gives you a shape of the future. Your self-light is complementary by the infinity that for everyone there is in a life. The meeting point is the kingdom of heaven, and from there we lead the four distance and infinity planets. Truly tell you, nothing has absolutely rest. Neither matter nor spirit. The stars move, and the spirits move, and the colossal kingdoms of galaxies move. And I truly tell you that all the things movement has one no end. Seeks eternal perfection to know in the kingdom of the Father. Weren't you taught that you had to be born again to see the kingdom of God? Every bird is a hostile, and moment is one of his characteristics. Even after the death of your physical body, even the spirit undertakes is returned. The universe attracts him because in a place in it he was created. And I truly tell you that the distances and experiences that every spirit collects on his return journey are infinitely greater than those who knew on earth. And the memory of the earth becomes smaller, and the universe penetrates in farther. It is then that the spirit that was enlightened on earth understand the meaning of the parole. From the dust you are, and to the dust you will return. And associate the concept of the microscopic as far as your mind can imagine, because the earth on which he lived is being reduced to a microscopic point lost in the space, and what is more, unknown on the rest of the universe. As the spirit is in the universe, a living dream takes possession of it, and in the depths slept, it is limited to how far it can go. Its spiritual magnetism begins to be attracted to the place where he was created. In you, that place is the Alpha and the Son Omega. And I truly tell you that those who were violators of the Father's law are filled with the fear, and what they see in living reality, this fear is due to the fact that they were not honest with themselves. Doubt and therefore to cultivate in faith made his fear indescribable moral pain. On the other hand, those who studied on earth and searched for the truth in their own way feel sensations of happiness, and he is overcome with wonder in what was seen. And I truly tell you, it is the quality and the quality of feeling which accuses both sensations, and between the two there is infinite variety of the sensations and degrees of them. Your spirit is like microscopic sun that are attracted by a larger one. The Omega is attracted to the Omega. That is to say, the end is attracted because cause of the end. A magnetic saturation of the solar fire called human life comes to an end. The human spiral reaches out the point where the Omega beings, reaches the beginning of the circle. At the beginning of the life, his journey to the distant planets and the planet Earth was linear. The saint and his return, and I truly tell you, the outward journey is the same as the return of the journey, and it comes and goes along with the same solar core. The outward of the journey, which is in a future birth, is a baby journey. The return trip to the adult trip, except the spirit who has to return being infants. The journeys of the spirit, both outward and returns in a parallel to the route led by the planet to which it's going. Here are the living destinies of those who would travel through the cosmos. Infinity creatures meet in this colossal coming and going. The spiritual crowd obscures the colossal sounds of the microcosms. A spirit and sounds converses and discuss what is sensed in your world. Is sensed in the cosmos. What it's above, it's equal to what's below. More above is a living communism, and below is the selfishness of the private. The first is from the kingdom of heaven, and the latter is unknown. Because darkness does not go belong to the light. It is a quality and quality that does not belong to the kingdom of the heaven. It is the opportunity that the devils of the private ask for. They ask to prove their selfishness in a word that defiles them of them, because the Father command taught it. More, the world limited them, and begin of the light. They passed into the darkness, and only one moment of the free will was enough, because a terrestrial century corresponds to a celestial second. As the spirit moves away from the earth, and it loses its proportion, it to new the earth, and the concept of time that is no longer the same, all human limits disappear free for him. Projects that relating him to the infinity beings to be born in him. Human concepts are lost in infinity. Only the soulful light is the morality that they live does not depart from his spirit, and is approaches to the solar point where it was created, and it begins to recognize the divine place. A feeling beyond this control causes him to burst into tears, and he sees his solar parents who smile at him. When the place of the origin is reached, most of the spirit lose consciousness. So great is the emotion, and they are helped by the infinity solar creatures who lovingly give them encouragement. And I truly tell you that in that supreme moment, your guardian angel and the spirit appears and also comforts him. More shame, no shame. Millions and millions of spirits deny the existences of their invisible protector. Many spirits would like to die or disappear from there, because the ingratitude felt on earth surrounds it with a black golden glow. And he sends many angels, they purging from him, and there everyone is telepathic. They read your mind, and they do it with a wonderful naturalness. There, the ungrateful spirit regrets having been on earth, because the glory of the Father shines him. There is no purity on it. For following the concept of the false system of life based on gold and illusions, a system of life that move away from the Father's love and move him away too, and how the curses the rules of the distant world called earth, and many spirits ask to be born again to take revenge. Here is one of the causes who those who take justice of their own, they are born hating the world, and they become true devils and nightmares. One of them was the devil Adolf Hitler. This devil did not take into account the Father's breathing, trample, and the divine commandment that it says, "You should not to kill." I truly tell you, this devil groans in the darkness. He must pay every last pore of his victim's flesh, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, cell for cell, blood by blood, molecule for molecule, and each pore of the flesh that is through this fall did not fulfill the mandate of life. And its equivalent to existence on atonement, the pores of all the flesh have the same rights as the spirit has. They also have free will and complaint in the kingdom of heaven. And everything humble and microscopic is great in the kingdom of the Creator. Listen to them first. They are great in size and philosophy because the gigantic becomes microscopic. And the gigantic microscopic, they are attributes that the human spirit does not possess. The pores of the flesh that the solar heritage who made living alliances with the spirit. It is the Ark of the Covenant in the material and the spiritual, and the entire human body belongs to the same elements of the nature. The whole belongs to the whole. No one is an exception in creation. The origin and his consequences are the same as events that manifest themselves in an instance in which philosophy is developed in a distant planet. The origin, a reincarnation, is a solar desire and a sprout of love between the suns. The divine command that it says, "Let there be the light," goes back to eternity before the present suns. And I truly tell you that the current sons are those that have been exist were also like you. They were creatures of flesh. They were little human monkeys in the world that are no longer there. The Father command has not neither begin nor end. Were you not taught that your God has neither beginning nor end? Truly tell you, all those who did not find out will not enter in kingdom of heaven. That's what they ask for in himself. Writes Alpha and Omega. For more about this telepathic scrolls of the Lamb of God, feel free to visit our website, telepathicreading.com. You can find free material for your reading and your understanding. Thank you for your attention.